Hey Scorpio, and welcome to your January 2025 Intuitive Tarot and Astrology. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. Happy Capricorn season. Website and payment options are below, and then Patreon link for the extended version of this reading will also be below. I also put this general reading up too. If you want it straight to your inbox, you can also sign up there. Scorpio, let's get started. The moon, being guided. You may feel like Capricorn season is guiding you. Ooh, we also have the page guiding you. Mercurial guidance, perhaps. A few things here. It's possible that for the past few weeks, you've been experiencing a freshness of energy. You can't deny maybe having more or wanting more youthful, to feel more youthful in your life. Maybe to feel less controlled and more free and to be guided. And then Mercury went into Capricorn on the 8th, which was just, almost a week ago. And this maybe freed up some communication or some stagnancy blocks in communication, are showing you where you may need to communicate about your future, or maybe where you see yourself. Maybe this is just for you, and that you've really needed to take a look at what's fulfilling to you for the long run and what you think about the long run. That right now, whatever you have in your life, is there longevity to it? Can you always kind of do it if it's something that you want to do, but then if you want to shift and change? And you notice where that has caused you to have a certain response to making plans. I think it's really important right now that you understand that this is a time where energetically a lot can happen. There's a lot of flexibility here, but we have to be willing to notice our patterns. We have to be willing to notice, we have to be willing to notice what we're being shown. And you are being shown that it is a great time to try on new beliefs, try different ways of doing things, be more creative, where that actually, because maybe for some of you, you haven't followed that too much, now you can do it under the guise of something. Maybe it's being more creative on the day-to-day and working your way into something. But either way, you realize that the way you think may have to shift and is shifting. It is. And the way that you communicate that in your day-to-day life. Meaning, every day, what are you doing that communicates that's what you want in the future? Because it does take some time, depending on your internal beliefs and what you do externally, it's that space. So anything that's been on your mind in and out, because there has been things in and out for a while now, especially having to do with how you do your daily routine, and you've been wanting to shift them and it just hasn't been working. But now there's so much momentum and energy that now that space has grown smaller and smaller, that as you think of things and want to do them, you can actually put them into action quicker, because you've created a deeper sense of security over the years with this part of yourself. When you've questioned doing something when you know you should have and it would have felt better if you did it right away, that gap between like saying you're going to do something and then not doing it, or procrastinating, has gotten smaller and smaller. And the more that you do new things, the more that you or allow yourself to communicate with people differently, whatever it is, the more that you allow yourself to be a little bit more flexible in these areas of your life, the more newness that you bring in, the more that things can shift with ease, because you're not holding on so tightly to the way things have been or the way things used to be. And you realize that even just in your day-to-day routine, this makes things have more flow. There's more opportunity for enjoyment, opportunity for spontaneity, opportunity for maybe even laughter to learn something about someone. You realize that there's this part of you that you've kind of been holding back, maybe even from yourself. You know, you're not usually the sign I talk to about this, but sometimes when we hold back, and not that you do this consciously if you ever do it, because you're not the type, but when you're holding back love, even from yourself or from expressing it, it has to go somewhere. So sometimes it can get bottled up in us, and it can make us like, you know, irritable, when really we just want to be someone who's open, right? And if that's what you've been calling in, you get a lot of opportunities to do that. And it may cause you to rethink this plan, to rethink what your life will look like if you implement this on the day-to-day. If you're not so brought down by your routine and whatever you have, and the more that you can get a little bit more flexible, a little bit more fluid, a little bit more, or more open even in the structure that you have. If you have to really have a routine, like certain things, where can you find newness within the relationship with that? Like if you go to the same gym or you go work out at the same time, how can you mix that up a little? Maybe you mix up your workout a little. Maybe you talk to someone when you normally wouldn't, or whatever it is. There's less tension in that area of your life, in those areas of your life, especially to do with fulfillment. Now, the moon is also associated with Pisces. Pisces is in your 5th house. That's where the nodes have also moved, and this card is out first. So I would say this is also important to the energy that you've been building up if you're single and you're looking to be in a long-term relationship, or you're looking to be with someone. This is a great time to date. That's also why it's a great time to like talk. You never know. Like even if you don't think anything will go further in it, or if you meet someone and maybe they know someone, right? So it's not just about the person you're directly meeting. It could be also indirect. You'll see where for too long certain habits have controlled you or kept you from acting on instincts, even if it felt uncomfortable. Now I think you're inviting that discomfort to help you break free from any of these molds. You know, from as small and again mundane to as big as life-changing in how you see your future. Because I think a lot of you may not realize that the more that you practice this is going to open your mind out to something. And even though you feel like you're free, and you are, and you're in the world moving, you realize that there's still maybe a wall or something that you put yourself behind, or you have really moved beyond that, and now you're realizing how long you've kept yourself there, or how long, you know, certain things have been going on in your life and you've just had to relearn over and over again. This could also be about birthing maybe a child for some of you, if you're thinking about having a child this year. Or you're working on fertility. It's a great time to be more focused on that. It will enhance your ability, even just for your health, you know, even just for health if you want. But this is also a great time where you can be a little bit more romantic, be a little bit more dreamy. Maybe you actually really act on a creative project this month. Mercury is also in Capricorn as well, like I mentioned. So if your dreams have to do with communicating at all about life, especially in those areas, I wouldn't hesitate to, because you know what this is doing? This is really helping you secure and find deep security within your ability to act, within yourself and how you maneuver in life. And it's helping you see where for so long maybe you've held yourself back, or you've held, you know, your heart open, if it's for love, or whether it's for love or not. But if it is for love and you're more open to love, you're more secure with yourself, then you're unwilling to settle, right? There's this unwilling to abandon yourself. Maybe if you have for so long, maybe you don't do that, and you practice that radically. And that secures you within yourself even more. that all of this is bringing you to a deeper sense of security with your values, with who you are, and who it is that you're consistently becoming. Masculine energy, your yang, your movements in life, your strategy. And it's helping you maybe see, this is your general theme of the year, and it's helping you see from 2 to 2. I just noticed that here, from 2 of Wands, King to 2, where you've held yourself back, where it wasn't just outer circumstances that created the internal, but there's these parts of you that didn't feel maybe worthy. Like there's something always gonna happen, and now you feel like, oh, like you have more authenticity. I know these words are used too much, but like sovereignty. You feel very not only connected to life around you in a very healthy way, but like not connected in the ways where you still have your individual self. I think more than ever, I think that's something that this creative journey and this creative process is also bringing you down at this time. And it's because there is many ideas, lots of emotional security. Oh wow, this is a huge theme. Oh well, whatever, you guys have been waiting, you know. Especially if it is, we have 3 more cards with a Libra. But also for a lot of you, this is about what and how you've handled the nodes being in your 12th house, or just handled surprises, handled the mystery, how you've emotionally learned to become so stable with yourself. And that's that deeper security. So we have financial security, but then it's like, are you really secure with yourself, regardless of the money you have, regardless of where you're at? Knowing that doesn't make the man or the woman or the person. It doesn't make you who you are. It's how you handle things that make you who you are. And because of that, things are balancing out. There's a relief that you have felt in the past few days that will continue to move forward, but also test your ability to stay there at times. And your foundations, and how much whatever you're noticing is coming up now has affected at you from a foundational level, from what you've been programmed in and your, you know, in your family, and how you've been raised to who you really are, and how you are going to move forward with that, to what really fulfills you, right? So maybe within you, you start to create differently. There's something being created differently in you, whether it's a human or an idea or any of this that's becoming more than just a thought. It starts to have this ripple effect maybe in your entire community, perhaps. And it allows you to reassess your skills and how you can also see it as a resource and gain more resources as well. How this ability to learn to really communicate on an emotionally intelligent way, and how that creates more ideas when this part of you is balanced, when this part of you is seeing eye to eye, where the energy within yourself feels maybe calmer than it has in a really long time. And this inner center is so important for the years to come, but especially this year, obviously. And knowing that you find that through your mind. Where's your mind taking you? Can you take it back to yourself? What do you feel? What do you notice? How can you keep creating? Because that's what's real. How can you keep going? Because that's what's real. What do you need to communicate? What is being communicated to you? And what boundaries do you need to create with yourself? With how much energy you spend, how much you receive, the emotional stability, the discipline to notice when you're taking on too much. or when there's more to do, and noticing when maybe you notice where that your endurance is also leveling up, where sometimes having boundaries are for your emotions so that you don't go into overdrive, so that you don't burn out. Because your mental, emotional well-being is very impactful on your physical health this year, and on yourself and how you appear and how you go to day. So if you work out for those reasons, or if you do certain things for those reasons, continue to do it, but know that there will be needing a balance between how much you're also receiving and intaking. So intake and input, output. You may have a lot of dreams, which will need you disciplined. You've already learned about your health a lot, and now you're putting it into action. So if you need to be primed and you need to be ready and you need to be like able to maneuver through your life, especially Scorpio risings, it's not time to slack on your health. You don't want to do that. If you want to be an optimum, don't fight yourself on it. Just create a really disciplined. You are worthy of the health that you deserve. You are worthy of being in optimal health. And it actually feels good, because then you don't really want to feel bad. Then you don't want to really put yourself through what you used to. The balancing act here is realizing that, oh, this is what makes me feel the best. Why would I want to then do this too much? And if you need to be, if because you have a lot going on, or you have these different goals and you need to be in that optimal health, this will have to be the discipline. For some of you, it's about how your mind, and it's about needing to remain confident, remain clear, and fight the battle in the subconscious, even it out, realize that you're doing the best that you can, that this is your journey, and that having these boundaries and having them be strong and front or facing, and for you to see them, because you're going to see, you've seen a clear mirror, but you're going to see a very clear mirror of yourself this year about how you act, how you respond, how you receive information, how you handle who you are, who you show up as, a lot of that, and how solid your foundation is, and what you continue to add to that in the next 20 years, of course. This is also about you moving forward from maybe you do a lot of emotional healing this year, and you don't realize that moving forward in your life and moving in this more freeing and empowered direction, no matter how it comes about and what situations you find yourself in, being disciplined to that freedom is worth more than buying that thing that will make you feel instantly gratified. Maybe it's saving up for the thing that's going to last longer, right? It's the same thing, but a little bit better. You buy the thing, you spend a little extra, but then you need to save in other places. That you be disciplined to this for yourself, because you have become so secure that you're able to withstand this and know that anything come at you is almost just like a fly that you're just constantly batting away. You just become hyper-focused in a way that's so important, such an inner-centered stability, because this is what this is too, is like, this is you being able to remain centered. And in times that you're not, you find a way to let it out. You find a way to release it, because on the external, there's going to be so much stimulation. Uranus is moving into Gemini. So much stimulation. And so many people want to try to calm to your energy. That's like the fly too. So many different people, so many different opportunities. No, what do you really want? What's authentic to you? Do you want to keep expanding? Great. But if you're really focused in this one direction, and everything else is just noise. You'll know if it's real as the year goes on. You'll be tested emotionally throughout the year as well. Just like it's a lot about your emotions, how far you've come with your emotional intelligence, and how you continue to create your life from there. You know, the actions you really do choose to take, that is going to become more apparent what you've learned in the past few years. Maybe you become this is also negotiating. If you want to make any more negotiations, you'll be ready to. But refining your communication is huge right now. And being very clear about what you're setting out for. And realizing that, and it sounds so simple, but this is the main thing I want you to take away, Scorpio, because there are quite a few cards on the table, and we're going to take a look in the second part, is that every step you take to move forward, you're going to feel in your body. You're going to feel a release in your mind. You're going to feel so much sure, so much more confident. Not that you're not, but it's because we're entering such a different time, because we are, it's just like so much power comes back to you, so much energy comes back to you. You realize that you really can create a lot from this life if you're just willing to say the different thing, hold down, not settle, know that you deserve better, know that you can break free from patterns even if you have to feel something for like a day or 7. That whatever's coming back around is just showing you the authority that you've gained, the power that you've gained internally, and the discipline that you have for wanting more freedom in your life. And the way through freedom for you is emotionally. See what you've been carrying. See what you have already to utilize that, you know, is highly sought after. So a lot of new, a lot of regeneration, and just freeing yourself and letting yourself be, and notice how much more valued you are and how much more your energy affects the room. What you like, especially if you notice, like small ways to notice is like when you're at work, notice what goes on when you're not there. If you take a day off, or if you don't work the same, or if you work a different day and you notice that the vibe is different or the people are different, or if maybe they're the same people but things happen on days that you're not around, I want you to start to notice that kind of energy. So not just when people are around you, but when people aren't. And that will show you a lot. If you're in something with a Pisces, this month you'll know if it's real. You'll find out and have a lot of conversations about maybe the father, maybe your life, your upbringing, maybe you talk more about the future. I don't know, there's an expansive healing conversation with this Pisces. If you know, whether or not it's romantic involvement, a friendship, there's just a deepening of this connection. If it is romantic, then there is potential here. There's a lot of potential here. But you will also learn a lot about communication and where it stems from, especially if it's from the father. If there's a Capricorn in your life, there is a lot of discovery of what's been hidden and how much more controlled they've actually been. And there is a more relaxed vibe around the Capricorn that you may be seeing or around in your life. And maybe even potential for a really connective, growing conversation to be had. If there is a Libra in your life, and that's at the beginning of the month, they may not last, but either way, it's showing you your growth. If there's a Libra in your life, then it seems to be a very solid, emotionally connected relationship, and you're going to start to see things even out. More times of peace, more times of, but there needs to be this, there's a lot of radical honesty, there's a lot of mirroring happening right now, but there's a lot of peace of mind around each other. There's a lot of growth happening in the non-action. You know, that intimacy is starting to grow even more. and causing you and that person to maybe realize that the growth that you're seeking now is mutual, this freedom. And what comes with that is any struggles externally or internally on both sides, right, through the rest of the year. So how you're going to continue to relate to each other, how you keep each other accountable. If there's a Sagittarius in your life, there could be, if there has been marriage talked about at all, there seems to be a lot of friction, miscommunication going on with this person. There's stubbornness on their end. They may not want to back down, but they don't realize it's just them hurting themselves. You'll have a very clear view of this person, and if it's worth staying towards the end of the month. This could also be about how a Sagittarius or a certain person of discipline in your life or in the Libra's life has affected your communication as well. There could be a relief in that way. So that is the general theme for the year, but also any relationship stuff. The more secure you become, the more things grow, the more you have so much patience and I would say even gratitude for the way that you've decided to maneuver in your life, and you realize that it's really just been a lot of growth edges, and now you're at a time where growth has more ease, because and spontaneous growth too. You may not realize how much is happening, and then by the time Uranus goes direct for Scorpio risings in your 7th house of committed partnerships or just commitment in general, your one-on-one relationships, how much you've grown, and you'll notice like who has it and who has a lot more clear. And it will also, if you're not in a partnership, you may meet someone very quickly towards the end of the month that really shows you what it can be like in a relationship that is willing to evolve, if you don't already have that. And if you do have that, it'll show you how evolved that has been, or it'll give you more ideas of how you guys want to grow together. So there you have it for now. Lots of moving forward, so much to be proud of. It won't feel like much, like it won't feel huge externally, but internally it will feel like a lot, and towards the end of the month you'll really feel it. You'll also see and have maybe even more compassion towards any father figure that you've had, or just anyone, including yourself, who's gone in the day-to-day routine and just for so long and yet has not given up on. If that's your thing, great, and you would be the first person to say this, but has not given up on the fact that there's more. Like, you're still willing to let yourself be provoked by dreams and by change. So amazing to you, Scorpio. I'm so excited to talk to you about the next part. There are a lot of cards on the table. It was not intentional. It's just how it happened, and we'll get more into it and how what has been hidden, what has come to light, has caused you to really take note of how you've been moving through life. That will be in your general theme. The change of this year, the pace is what you'll notice, I think, the most. And it's gonna be clocked internally. Okay, we'll get into the next part. All links are below. We'll see you there, Scorpio.